Hello everyone and welcome back to Scrolls, where today we're going to be doing a video which I've been meaning to do for about a month now, but due to laziness and a lack of interest and want to doing it and a holiday, it's taken me a while to get round. But I'm playing Scrolls again now, so we're doing a video. So, yes, enough of saying so I think. About a month probably ago, 3 weeks, around that time, I made a post on Reddit asking for all the decks you know of, and yeah, I got some answers. So this is what this video is going to be. It's going to be a collection of all the decks I've been sent. It's entitled the Decks of Waypoints, I guess. It's going to be a bit like the 12 decks of Scrolls that I do at Christmas. However, this is covering a lot more decks, about 32, I think. 32, 33, somewhere around there. Basically every single deck I could think of, apart from God decks, because you know I've got to set the standard somewhere. There's horrible miracle pudding things in here, but no to God decks. That's the rule. Okay, having none of that. But yeah, it'll be quite informal, just relaxed sort of video. Nothing too structured. As you can see, we've got lots of decks, so let's get looking. Start off with Mono Decay. Now Mono Decay has always been a decent deck. This sort of version, Creature Watch Again sort of deck. Always been one of my favourite consistent decks to play. It has undergone a big transformation since lots of things got nerfed. Black Bear used to cost 3, now costs 4. That change was made months ago. Don't know why I'm saying it. You know, Taxim was added onto Damning Curse. Witch Doctor's attack was reduced. And all of that... Oh, Brennice cost was increased to 4 for some reason as well. All of that made things change, and the deck wasn't too good. And now it's okay, mainly because Mudo Fighter, it's a 4/2/2, but it's got magic resistance too, so it doesn't die to removal. It still dies to poison, but things like Spark, Thunder Surge, Sudden Eruption, State Machine doesn't deal damage. No, makes it a decent 3-drop. Means it fills the gap. Means everything's fine. I don't know how I'd rate this in meta. I mean, it's still pretty consistent. It's still capable of beating anything, I think. It's also capable now of losing to everything, unlike before where it was just invincible. Yeah, I mean, this meta is kind of weird. Everything's winning, everything's losing. So play what you're comfortable. And yeah, if you're looking for a decent Decay deck, you can play this. If you're looking for a more aggressive Decay deck, you can play this Undead deck. This was submitted by Alpha Sentry, who I think is ranked 4th with it somewhere. He's ranked 6th. Well, he managed to get up to like quite high with it. It's not saying 6 isn't quite high, but I think he got higher as well. With this version, I would call it YOLO Undead. I was calling it Undead just because we've got YOLO Decay to come. But yeah, Undead stuff. R-type Undead. Mire Shambler, Revenant, Blade Husk, Slave Vestige, Harvester. That's it. But you got synergy with Anima Conjurus, Flesh Animator. Flesh Animator will reduce the countdown of all your undead and your opponent's undead units, so be careful there. But the idea is you then play Restless Bones, and you basically got Crimson Bull and a Fury-ish effect in one scroll, which is quite powerful. Especially when you combine it just like Revenant. You can play Revenant, Restless Bones, and you've got like 3-4 hasted attack units. No, that's not right. Way around. 3 4-attack hasted units. Yes. I need to remember how to speak again when doing videos. I'm out of practice. Also, we've got Sanctuary Lost to protect all our undead units. Gives them Ward. Iron Bar for extra attack and Curse, which your opponent won't see coming. Watcher. Use to stop removal. If you put Revenants next to it, then the Watcher damage will go off because Revenant will kill itself. And yeah. Nice aggressive undead Decay deck here, which has proved to be pretty consistent, and it's like that effect, which is one of my favourite animations of the game actually. Very nice. Ooh, I've actually played Revenants, didn't think I had. YOLO Decay, not really a deck that's played, but I've added it anyway because there's a certain attachment to this. Again, probably said this numerous times now, but if you don't know the history of this deck, it was designed by me about a year ago. In an ESL tournament. Just for fun, I thought I'm going to play all the bad Decay cards and see how I do. And I came 3rd. And then I've evolved a deck from then, and then I played it in Deck Wars series against NERP, and I 3-0'd him with it. I beat Structure Energy, Mono Decay, and Tempo Order, I think it was, off the top of my head, which proves how good it can be. But it's one of the most inconsistent decks you will ever play. Buff slightly, thanks to Wicked Being. Another card that gives more direct idle damage. The idea is basically you go for idle damage, as in YOLO, and then you try and win with Wicked Beings, Regentures, and Lord Darklings and the Enders because you can't get through with damage anymore. Hex Marks, Idle Strike 3, that's a lot of damage there. Uneasy Alliance can use to buff up your own units as well as cheap removal. Grizzly Graft on a Harvester, that's always fun. Rhino Fighters, solid 3-drop again. Damning Curse, we do run it in this version. You don't run it in Undead because you've got 71 health units, but in here, you kind of have to. And yeah, you're kind of all in on idle damage and just go for it. That's pretty much it. Curse Control. One of my favourite decks to play. I like control-y decks. I like decay decks, so why not play this? This was the best deck before Bloodline Taint got nerfed, which upset me. But no, it's okay now. I think we changed the Halls of Realm, and that's really affected it. Before, it would Halls of only sift through the top 3 cards of your graveyard, even though it wasn't worded that way. But now it works as you think it should and sifts through the entire graveyard, which means it's less inconsistent what you can try and draw. So you can't draw a road every turn and just beat energy like that, or keep on getting Necrogeddons and things. But it's still pretty decent. Cluster Hex doing a decent job. The difference between Bloodline Taint and Cluster Hex is Cluster Hex costs more. Cluster Hex affects 7 tiles, where Bloodline Taint doesn't affect tiles at all. It just affects creatures of the same subtype. So whereas Cluster Hex can get more, Bloodline Taint has more reach. So if Beast was at the top and Beast was on the bottom, it would get both. Whereas Cluster Hex has to have them next to each other. So I still think the old Bloodline Taint was better, but Cluster Hex isn't too bad. Baleful Witches work well with it, deals lots of damage. Cluster Hex, Curse Presence, sorry, Baleful Witch, more damage. Lots of poison. Halls draws you cards, lots of creatures, Rattle Him, control stuff. Necrogeddon to finish things off with Watcher. Really nice, consistent deck, I think. Now, there was a tournament which I entered for the first time in ages. The first tournament I've played taken seriously. And I came second in it, and I played this. It's about a month ago. Yeah, this looks weird. This was Curse Control, but I made it more poisony. So we've got Festering Freak and Blightbearer in this one. So you play really defensive with these. So Festering Freak, Blightbearer, play them as defensive units. You're not really looking to be offensive. So you punish your opponent for attacking them. Mangy Vats in that as well. They've got to deal with it, otherwise things will get poisoned. Then you can use your curse stuff to control the board. Still got Baleful Witches, that's so powerful. And we've got this massive wombo combo at the end. We've got double Watcher and 3 Necrogeddon, where the other version had 1 Watcher and 2 Necrogeddon. So we've got no beefy units. This is how we deal damage to idols. I've also got a Forbidden Ruins in just to add extra oomph when we do the Watcher. I kept on losing to Eva, and I was always like 1 point of idle damage off, like so 1 Darkling away from winning each time. So I did a Forbidden Ruins just to, I don't know, just to be extra special. That was always quite fun. 4 damage. Well, that's terrific, isn't it? But yeah, that's poison variant. Then we've got Ratgeddon. This is submitted by PewQ. So it's the standard mono Watcher Decay. However, it's also got some growth in it. So this was a popular deck way back, way back, when Return to Nature costed 2 and gave all your opponent's creatures -1 on the board. So you could get growth quite easily. And then you need to play your Rat Kings and your Watchers and stuff. And he's managed to bring that deck back by building this. So a Road, Sister of Fox's First Swords, and Rat Kings in your growth. Still got Return to Nature. Nowhere near as good as it used to be, but still pretty decent. I hardly play it at all. He's got 3 halls. You can go over 2 halls. What's it called? I'm good with names. Cost 3. Rattle Him. You can go with 1 Rattle Him, 2 halls, or 3 halls. He prefers the 3 halls. I prefer 1 Rattle Him, 2 halls effect. Or approach, rather. But yeah. Do as you like. So yeah, this deck wins by you playing your Watcher and your Rat King and your Necrogeddon. So it's got 3 token creatures to spend on board and use it to be Necrogeddon fodder. Sister Fox first or Sword draws your card, Erode ramps it up as well. And yeah, apart from that, standard decay deck. And still pretty good. What have we got next? DG Samata Control. Now this deck was created by CISP originally. But this is Frostbank. No, this is PewQ's. It's mine? It's my version? I don't know. I never play it, but I built a version. I can't remember. I think it's mine actually. But it was originally created by CISP, the idea. So you got Samata Shift, which summons a random creature score from your library on target tile. Its health is set to 2. So naturally only run 2 creatures. Kinfoot Veteran and Oblivion Seeker. Kinfoot Veteran will have haste every single time, so you got 3 hasted damage for 3 growth. Or you get an Oblivion Seeker, which will draw you 2 cards. So you get some consistent draw effects from that and damage. And you got lots of ways to control the board with Frostgale, Return to Nature, Quake, things that destroy things, Damning Curse, Brain Lice, Erode, Ramp as well, Soul Steel. And yeah, then you just get lots of stuff on the board with Rat King, God Hand and Necrogeddon, and it's pretty disgusting. At least it can be. One of the more hated decks, I would say. But I think it's quite cool. But then a guy called Rotsbungle came along and upgraded it by making it more puddingy. He added in Budding Retreat and Scavenging Construct and Animover, so that and Monstrous Brood. So this way he could get draw a lot from Animover on Scavenging Construct. You can play Rat King around it, Monstrous Brood, that would turn all your rats into monstrosities. You then draw 3 cards and so on. Budding Retreat would also keep on giving you resources. And then you'd win that way. So it's Samata, Pudding, Control, Shift, Thing, Brood, Geddon. You get the idea. Same sort of controlling style, can draw and do fun things with Pudding here. Next we've got this, which no one ever really saw coming. This was a deck by Donkey74, just called Rats. Yeah, we thought he lost his mind. He started playing Rats on the ladder and doing quite well with it. And yeah, it's actually decent. So since Junkyard changed, it used to only give health and now it gives attack. Rats are quite strong. If you remember the unfair Udo trial, where before the change you just lost because all these grave locks you just couldn't get through. And then Elder was nerfed and then Junkyard was buffed and now it's easier. But yeah. Spam lots of rats on the board. Junkyard buffs them up. Fields of Vigor will buff them up. Kind of a Flock will buff them up in a way. A Personance onto Pestis will give you lots more rats. Spam a board with Terrene Brutes and you're going to get them attacking every single turn. Earthborn Keeper's going to be attacking for lots of damage as well. It's just so weird and consistent and ugly. It's impossible to understand. Collector Sign Horse will also count down things. So if you're looking to play a really trolly weird rat deck which you probably will think, what the hell am I facing, this is going to be easy, next second later, oh heck I'm dead, how the heck did that happen? Play this, because I think that's most people's impression of that deck. Late game growth, this is my version. I've chosen it because I can win with it and I can never win with late game growth, so this must be doing something decent. It's all designed around late game, so not bothered with Bait of the Wild or Kinfolk Braves. R2 drops a Sister Fox and Vengeful Vator because they will draw you cards, and ramp, that's all you want. So you don't want Vator because you'll be blowing the field up with Frostgale and Quake, so I won't do anything. Then you come back later with Veterans and Ragged Wolves, Terrene Brutes, Big Great Wolves, and things like that, and then blow up the board. I've gone with 2 First Assault and 1 Rekindle Spirits as well, just so you can take out lingering spells. Apart from that, standard late game growth things, yeah. Still a pretty decent deck actually. I've got 2 Kinfolk Jarls as well, which are pretty sexy. And then he used to be a 3/2/6 without inspiring. Good times. What else have we got? We've got Aggro Growth. Now this is Nerp's version, which he stayed consistently on number 1 for many months. It's outdated now, but he still said this is the only one I've got, so we're going with it. I've never been too happy about the 2 Rumble in this deck, but whatever. Not for me to complain. He did well with it. I'm also not happy. It's not exactly aggro. It's not aggro enough for me. The next deck's aggro. This is labelled as aggro because curve stops at 5. But yeah, things happen. Touring Brutes, Wetland Rangers, really, really strong. This attacks a lot, very often. I don't know what to say. Earthenmouth Stag Hearts, big enchantments. Mystic draws them. Not as strong as it used to be, because it's down to 3 health now, but still pretty decent. Great Wolf Mangies. Mangy Wolves aren't really aggro. That's what I don't like. Touring Brute, Mangy Wolf. You don't look at them and think, oh, that's aggro. Because Touring Brute's got 5 countdown. Rumble, 3 Rumble. That's not aggro. Let me just show you my 1 countdown deck. This is aggro. I mean, look at this. You've got Earthborn Keeper, Wildling, Wetland Ranger, Brave. That's 12 1 countdown units. We've got 9 enchantments to buff them up. Champion Ring, Stag Hearts, Earthenmouth. That's a lot of damage. Crimson Bull for more damage. Gravehawk, because it's got Relentless on the 2-drop, and you can just stick a Earthenmouth on it and it gets huge. Yeah, I'm not dissing Nerf's deck at all. It's strong, but it's not aggro enough. So if you want a more consistent growth deck, which can last into the late game still, but is still very aggressive, you can go with this. But if you want to go all out aggro, go with it. Play this. It's not very good. You'll lose. But I think I beat Tajik in like 7 turns with it. It was insane. But yeah, the jaws of this can be very good, but it's pretty inconsistent, whereas the other one, jaws are still very good and it's pretty consistent. So to each their own. Beast Growth. This was submitted by Colour Plant. Another sort of aggro growth-ish variant. However, this time we've got beast synergy, so we've got Culling the Flock. So sacrifice a beast. Other beast you control have their attack increased by that unit's attack until end of turn and become fully healed. So if you target a Touring Brute, all your beasts get 4 attack, which is a lot. So Rat Kings, or Rat summoned from there, are going to be beast. Ragged Wolves are beasts. Mangy Wolves are beasts. Brutes are beasts. Nog summoned from Nog Nests a beast, Great Wolves a beast, and Fang Bears a beast. So it's a lot of beasts. Oh yeah, Ragged Wolves as well, from Brother Wolf. Beasts. So you can get Great Wolf to huge as well, thanks to all your Ragged Wolves. Play it on Great Wolf, Claim a Flock on Great Wolf that is, and then they're going to have like 8 attack, and you can lose. You can also add Essence Feast if you like. Take out like 1 Claim a Flock for Essence Feast, just for some heals and double damage. But yeah. This is the version Colour Plant submitted, so we're going with this. And it's quite good. He's beaten me a few times with it. Go Draw, an old favourite. This version is by Rots Bengal. Go Draw was the first multicolour resource deck, all the way back in Alpha. It used to be called Summons back then, just because I had the idea of adding summons with memorials for a consistent ramp. And the deck was only 40 scrolls big back then, so you got lots of ramp from it. And first assault cost 3, and you could target structures. So it was insane. It's got nerfed. So never has a deck been nerfed so many times. So no AD, that's been nerfed. First assault's been nerfed in its time. Rat King's been nerfed. It used to cost 3. Veteran's been nerfed a lot. Quake's been nerfed. Godhand's been nerfed. It used to give +3 attack. I think Kabonk used to do something different. Moors have been nerfed. Partisan's been nerfed. Oh god, Vanguard has been nerfed-ish, but it's still powerful. Imperial Resources, been nerfed. Yeah, the deck's still doing quite well. It finds a way, I think is how we're going to put it. So yeah, Go Draw, the idea is you ramp a lot with your Memorials, you blow up the field with your Quakes and your Frostgales, and you draw a lot with Fertile Swords, Kabonks, Summons, Heritage, Righteous Partisan, Rekindled Spirits, Imperial Resources. And you just win with pure control. It is beautiful. Tempo Order. Onto Order now. An old favourite. Hasn't changed all too much. The idea is you play out lots of strong Order creatures. So you curve into Aging Knight, Ducal Infantryman, Wing Shield, Ducal Skirmisher, Raw Vanguard, say. And you use all of Orders. Strong board spells like Flip Pother. Countdown spells, Roasted Beam Potion, Blessing of Haste. To just control a board, get through for all the damage you need, and then you finish them off with Decimation. Because your opponent can't prevent that, which is fair. That's how many I've killed 9 idols with Decimation in a row. I've played it 20 times. Nah, that's annoying. How's Wing Cleaver doing? Oh, good. Wing Cleaver is pretty insane as well. Essentially a 7/2/5 with Relentless in this deck. Very good. Relorus has also helped this deck out. Just lots of damage you can get off this. You can go with 2 Relorus, 3 Eternal Sword if you like. Just if you're finding you enjoy Relorus a lot, but I like 3 Relorus. Very strong. Tempo Order, still pretty good. Late game order. Good again, thanks to Arbiter Steers in the last set. Very, very strong. So the idea is you ramp up with input resources. You can control the board with mangonels and Arbiter Steers. Mangonels you can buff now with Relevus, whereas before you had to put focus on them, and you can no longer do that obviously because focus got nerfed. That was always what kept the last late game, well, the original late game order decks to be so strong. You can mangonel focus speed, and you just have 6 attack on a mangonel, which is a lot. And now you have to work for it by playing Relevus next to it. But usually 4 damage is enough to take out everything anyway, so you just need to play 1 spell. Then we've got extra defensive spells and scrolls in like Gant Defender and Raw Spearman. I haven't got Wing Shield in this deck just because there's not a lot of creatures, and the way you don't really want to play, you don't want to go creature. Well, you don't want to go creature Wing Shield with this deck. You just want to play Raw Spearman. If you just went Wing Shield on its own, it hasn't got any armor. Whereas Raw Spearman at least offers you something. And Gant Defender will just have armor too as well. So that's why I haven't got Wing Shield on the deck. And also Spiky 3 is a lot. Yeah, then he's got lots of ways to draw cards: Summons, Kabonk, Bother, Infiltrate, control the board, Tempo Theft, Arbiter Steer, blows things up, Input Resources ramps, K draws you lots of cards, and I'll stock in 1 Banner of Ordnance as well just to deal with lingering spells, because they can be annoying. Next we've got an extreme late game order deck. This is Prisoners of War. This is submitted by PewQ. So as before, you got the same sort of late game order style. You still got your draw, Righteous Partisan, Infiltrate, Pother, Kabonk. However, now we've got more draw. Roll Inspiration will draw you a Knight Scroll and a Soldier Scroll. Heritage as well will draw you cards. We've got Ducal Spearman and a Gallant Defender, to each their own. We've only got Prisoner of War as well, so this takes the next growth, decay, and energy creature scroll from the White Library and add them to your hand. Increase current wild by 1. So you can draw 3 cards, which you're never going to play really, but it's mainly just there to draw cards and use those cards which you draw. The Ragged Wolf, Copper Automaton, Revenant as fodder to sacrifice. You can play Copper Automaton Revenant as well and stick a Heritage or Powerbound on it, just to ramp and draw that way. Yeah. You notice there's no Relevus as well because Relevus is a Knight and you only want to draw Knights from Royal Inspiration, so you only want to be drawing Arbiter Steer rather. So that's why that's not there. More control, more late game, more ramp, fun things. Empire's Dominion. So on to Anti-Rad's decks now. So this was a deck he came up with to use Caravans of the Expanse. This says, while Caravans of the Expanse is in play, Dominion traits are active. So he's got all the order scrolls that use Dominion traits such as Wingscleaver, K, Wingspear. There's not a lot. But yeah, when K's on the board, when K's got Dominion, she'll have Ward, so that's pretty strong. Wingscleaver's going to come down as an automatic 7/2/5. Wingspear's going to have Spiky 4. Raw Inspiration will draw you a Soldier Scroll as well. So, although there's not too much use for Dominion right now, it's still a pretty fun deck which you managed to have some success with. So you can give that a go. It's not exactly late game, but it's not exactly aggro either. Sort of mid-rangey, weird, potentially control-ish aggro. I don't know how you describe it. Tempo? Is that? No, it's not tempo. I don't know. Mid-range? No, I'm useless with these words. It's a Caravan deck. There you are. Caravans of Expanse. You got another one as well, Fallen Knights. He got up to number 1 with this deck. This is his version of Tempo Order. However, it uses Grounds of the Fallen as well. So this gives all humans +1 attack and magic resistance 1. So this way it's now immune to things like Frostgale. Quake damage will be just by 1. Energy spells will be just by 1. So, you know, it allows you stuff to survive a lot easier. And also there's more Knights in this deck. So we've got Knight Sergeant and Relevus and Knight Scholar as your Knights. Vanguard as well. So Knight Sergeant will be reducing the countdown of all those. And then also, 80 Knights as well. And then Sky will turn all your other units into Knights as well. So they'll be gaining effect in Knight Sergeant, which is pretty cool. And it's got the 5 displacement scroll in order, which I will try and go. Always have 5 displacement scrolls in your order deck as a rule, I find. Works quite nicely. So yeah, pretty strong order deck there. Then we're on to Dio Control. Dual Control. So this is created by Donkey, 74 months back now. It's not really seen anymore because things got nerfed, but it's still pretty strong. So it uses Decay's and orders ramp spells. So you've got Terror Recruit and Figure Extraction. So this gives you order and decay. And then you can use powerful combos like Tempo Theft and Harvester, and that will just, send off a Harvester, or you can still use Tempo Theft and Harvester, I guess. Halls will get you some more draw. Halls of Imperial Resources, that sounds fair, doesn't it? Having those two in the same deck. Well, this deck can do it. So, and still, early game is where it's strong as well, because you can just draw cards. Languid will draw your card, Kabonk will draw your card, Pother will draw your card, Very Nice will draw your card. As will Infiltrate, Star Steel, more cheap removal. Figure Extraction, more control. There's so many cheap draw-y, control-y cards which allow you to ramp and draw. It's pretty much why this deck has been so successful, because it's just allows things to be more consistent. A deck which isn't consistent, I've been told. This is Dio Idle Hate. This is Lahopa's. It's an aggro, decay, and order deck which uses direct damage spells to win. So Caller's Bane, Faith Chains, Decimation, Regenerature, Wicked Being, Lord Darkening, Searing Shackles, Invocation Sentry, Forbidden Ruins, and Watcher, all direct idle damage. So Forbidden Ruins are going to buff all your direct idle damage by 1. So all non-combat damage against idols increased by 1. So a Faith Chains will be 2 damage to all idols. Caller's Bane will do 2 damage, Decimation will do 4, Regenerature will do 2, Wicked Being will do 3, and so on. Then we've got aggressive creatures, Sinmot Zealous, cheap 1-drop, which you can blow up to set off Faith Chains. Our Heart's Disciple will do direct idle damage as well. Eager Scryer, 1 countdown units, pretty decent. Invocation Sentry will do damage when you use lingering spells. So we've got 3 in the deck, and Rattle Him will draw more, so you can keep on doing damage that way. And yeah, I don't really know much about this deck, so I've never played it, but you get the idea. What's next? Energy. How many have we got to go? Almost done. Good. Mono Energy Range. Now, this is my version. It's gone under a few changes since last time I showed you it. I think Gravelock Elder was in the deck then, but Gravelock Elder got nerfed, so Ironclad Reaver came in. And then Cannon Automaton became good again. So we've added Cannon Automaton, and it's actually pretty decent. A big range energy creature is always good, along with Fear. No Thunder Surge in this deck either. People are playing around Thunder Surge now, so Soul Thunder Eruption is where we're going. And yeah, I still think Mono Energy Range is pretty good. You don't really see it on the ladder anymore. Partly because Rational isn't playing, and partly because Machinated and Bombarded got nerfed slightly over the few months. So yeah, and people seem to be preferring to play my sort of energy control deck as well, with like Gravelock Guards, State Machines, Charge Girl, that sort of version, which I think is stronger. But I think this deck's still pretty decent. That's quite a latest game-ish version of Mono Energy. So there's also this one, and this is Mono Energy. I like this name. Mono Energy Mid-Ranged. See what I did? Yeah, clever. This is basically based off NERP's deck. I've kind of updated it slightly, so it's a combination of me and him. It uses Octus Cannon, Overdrives, and Forges, whereas the other version, which I showed you, doesn't. We've got 4 drops in Hired Marksman as well, Tempest Reaver. So it's a lot more concise, and there's no fears. There's no sudden eruptions or power trips. It's a bit earlier, sort of gameish. Mid-range, that's what I called it. So that explains it all, doesn't it? So it's trying to do smaller things, but a lot more quickly. So that's this version. I don't really know how good Hired Marksman is, actually. I don't think it's changed all that much since its health was increased to 4. It's better, obviously, but it's still not being played, so I think that might be just because of the position that energy's in right now. It's still too slow, so there you go. What's next? Automatons. Again, this is an old version from Donkey, but he says it's still how he would probably play it. So yeah, so this is just Automaton synergy. Automatons are Couple Automaton, Gun Automaton, Automator Forge, Replicaton, Scout Automaton, Echimaton, and Solemn Giant. No Cannon Automatons, they would probably go in as well. So, as I said, this hasn't been updated. Probably stick those in somewhere. But yeah, Replicaton, Scout Automaton. Scrolls you rarely see in NG nowadays, unless you're playing this sort of version. So if you're playing Automaton, you get to use these. Replicaton just never dies, in effect. Scout Automaton buffs all your automatons up, which is not very nice. We've still got some structures for control, use of contraption, state machine, forge, and optus cannon. I've only got machine chance just to give you extra ramp. Apart from that, it's a NG range deck, isn't it? So automatons was actually considered one of the best decks in the game a few months ago before the latest round of changes. So you can have a fiddle around with that one. Sorry for not being very clear when speaking as well. I don't know why. I'm just not able to get my words out at the moment. Probably from doing that, it's not helping. Mono NG structures. An old favourite of everyone who hates scrolls. Yeah. One of the least interactive decks ever. Basically, you just play down all your structures. You play down all your spells and your removal, and your opponent can do sod all against it because all your units have got too much health and they're blowing things up. So Clock Library are going to draw scrolls. Ether Pump's going to deal 1 damage to everything. Charge Core is going to deal 1 damage. Metal One's going to be pinging away. Hard Smuggler's going to be drawing your scrolls. Machine Divinator is going to make your structures go off faster. Machine Chant, Thunder Surge, Violent Dispersal, Sudden Eruption, Spark, Burn, all removal. Pretty disgusting, really. But if you like this sort of thing, you can go with it. Well, no one's playing it right now, so I suppose that's a good thing. Because they prefer to play this. My baby. My Mono Energy control deck. So this was my structure deck, which I just incorporated more creatures. And didn't want to be playing Machine Divinator, so I built this version. And yeah, it's fun. It's still control-y. It's just not as structure-y as Mono structures, so it's not as hated, I don't think. I hope not, anyway. Creatures are Gravelock Guard, Solemn Giant, Akimaton, Ironclad Reaver, Top Reaver here. Creatures are slow, apart from Solemn Giant, because that can hasten in a way. We've got lots of control-y structures. Charge Call, Metal Wonder, State Machine do a great job. Formation Conduit and Skull Shrine are better kind of against growth, so you can just sack them or gain resources, obviously. So you can play Sudden Eruption, bigger Sudden Eruptions, or your removal faster before you get growth, which is useful. Well, the meta's changed since then, so you don't really need Formation Conduits or Skull Shrines as much anymore. You might need things like Blind Rage are becoming quite popular. More Metal Wonders, Stone Enigmas as well, maybe. Might be quite useful. But still one of my favourite energy decks to play, if not one of my favourite decks to play. Ramp Energy, Donkey built this, another Donkey deck. He won a tournament with it. I can't remember which one. There have been so many tournaments recently. Yeah, he didn't drop a game, I don't think. So this was directly after the buffs to Fulmination Conduit and Snargle Hunter. So huge ramp theme. So Fulmination Conduit is going to give you resources when you sack it. Skull Shrine gives you resources. Snargle Hunter is going to give you resources. Ekimaton is going to give you resources. Some temporary, some permanent. And you just play all your big things. Cannon Automatons, Iron Ogres, Theas, Solemn Giants. They are huge. So that's the idea. You gain temporary resources, and you play out your big things. And with so many big things, your opponent's not going to be able to get through them all. Even if he does have things like Damning Curse or Mind Dispersal, it's just not going to be enough removal to deal with. Just huge breaches. Horrible. Gravelocks. There's never really been played since the Elder nerfed. That was until Owl Age. I think it was Owl Age. Sorry if it isn't. Built a version, and this is it. It's a lot more defensive Gravelock deck than people are used to. That's just how he decided to build it. So you got Plating, which combines nicely with Gravelock Outcast. So Gravelock Outcast can heal itself, also offers defense. Gravelock Burrows is where the main attack comes from. So when a Gravelock you control is dealt damage, your other Gravelocks get +1 attack until end of turn. So you can Thunder Surge your Gravelocks if you want, and then they all just get huge. Tempest Reaver as well, interesting one. You can gain lots of resources because you want to try and put all your resources into Snargle Omelette. So Tempest Reaver can work that way. Other than that, solid defensive Gravelord deck, which was never been heard of before. But there you are. Elder, I think it's still decent, but obviously not as good as it once was. Lock and Brood, watch out for that. It just dies. just dies. So annoying. D-Jolt. This is a deck by Vesuvius. It was originally created by a player called J4, I believe, which I showcased in my 12 Decks and Scrolls video. I thought it was quite cool. He's been fiddling around with this and seems to be doing quite well with it. So it's a lot more decay-ish. We've got bigger things like Nuru, Halls, Blooming Seekers, Life Sealers in this. One Urva, just so it combines with undead units. Some people like to do that. Harvesters, Husk Summon from Nuru. Not bad. And Element Conjure as well is going to give you a few undead units, so yeah, you can excuse it there. But the main thing is Feedback Jolt. Deal 3 magic damage to enchanted opponent's units, so obviously want to enchant your opponent's units. And Energy Siphon, Languid, Marcus, and Brainlight will allow us to do that. Energy Siphon is going to give us the energy so we can play Feedback Jolt, and it's just a lot of damage. I remember when effects used to be counted as enchantments, for reasons which I never understood, and then they released Feedback Jolt, and everyone was like, why is this a thing? And they were like, I don't know, it's disgusting. So they played like Bloodline Taint, Feedback Jolt, and deal like 5 damage, and it was disgusting. Just thought I'd remind you of the good old times. So that's that one. Oh, now on to the fun things. So Nutrition Fruition. This is the deck which I last did a video on. It is a sort of fun, jokey deck which I had the idea to work for. The idea is you play Samata Shift. It gives you a big creature like Jarl Earlhard, which you can then put Seed of Insurgency on, so if it dies, it comes back. You can play Nutrition on a seeded Jarl. You'll gain, say you have Jarl with a seed on. It's a new turn, play Nutrition. You're going to gain 7 growth, and you're going to have a Jarl on the field, and it's going to buff everything around it. So then you can play like Rat King, Nutrition, God Hand. Just lots of things like that, and it's capable of lots of silly things. And it's got all the sort of growth control spells like Quake, Frostgale, Ranger's Bane, Unground, just to blow things up, and first also Rekindle Spirit or Joy cards. That was the idea of that deck. I never really took it seriously. I never played it again. But then my friend Rots Bengal, as you all know, he took it and decided to have a fiddle with it, and he got to #1 with it. This is his version. It's the same principle. It's still got Nutrition, Seed of Insurgency, big things. Add in Skythorns as well, just for extra draw. Druidic Power just to keep some arted creatures alive early on if you haven't got a seeds in hand. But he also added in Noedi End of Reason. So this is a surprise edition, which seems to become quite popular all of a sudden. I wonder why. So yeah, you can Noedi, Rat King, End of Reason, blow up lots of things. Your opponent won't see it coming. It's a very, very powerful effect. You only really need 1 End of Reason, and then your opponent's thinking, oh, well, I've lost now. Just because End of Reason is capable of doing 6 damage, whereas a Quake can only do 2, obviously. End of Reason can do 6 to a row, and that's quite a lot. So you can take out things like Generals and Theas, all sorts of horrible, huge things. Great Wolves. Yeah. So, inspired by that End of Reason, I added End of Reason into Miracle Pudding, and I played it on my ladder yesterday, and it was disgusting. So this is the last deck, and it is Miracle Pudding. Sorry guys, I had to show it. Yeah, the idea is you have Budding Retreat and Budding Vator. They give you resources. You use these resources to draw cards and play things. So, say you got Budding Retreat and Budding Vator on the field, you play Rat King. Rat King's going to give you 3 growth back and 3 wild. So you're up 2 resources effectively. Ragged Wolf, you're going to gain 1 wild, 1 growth from it. All such things like that combine together to allow you to play Necrogeddon. Eventually you'll gain 7 wild thanks to no raid and stuff. You play Necrogeddon. That then gives you enough resources to play God Hand. Everything attacks for 5 damage and you win. And your opponent can do sod all about it. It is horrible. End of Reason, as I said, inspired by the previous deck. Added to just to give yourself a bit of extra control, so you can just play Noedi, Rat King, End of Reason, blow up things, and yeah, you're not all lost if you haven't got right combos for Budding Retreat and Budding Vator to go off. Because you can End of Reason and just delay it by quite a bit. And your opponent won't see this coming until they see this video and watch me play the deck, because they're playing around it already and it's irritating. I climbed from like 1700 to like 8th just by playing this deck. And then I lost luck, so I was getting tired and playing badly. But, still a pretty good deck. Mojang, Nerf Budding Retreat. It doesn't have to have Linger 6. It should have Linger 3, 4, 2. I don't know. Just not 6. 6 is bad. But yeah, Miracle Pudding. I believe that's it. As I said, I'm not going to show you a God deck because I don't have one, and they're evil. This is evil, but this is fun evil. God decks are just disgusting evil. So sorry it sounds a bit rushed, and I didn't say too much. I don't know what else to do. I just wanted to get it out there and show you all the cool decks so you can get playing and be inspired again. And hopefully this should keep us going until Echoes is released for next set. When all the cards on the test server, I will be doing videos on that. The cards that are on there at the moment, I'm not impressed by at all. I think 99% of them are pretty boring. But we shall see. Hopefully the rest of them are going to be quite good. I'll try and do a few more deck guides as well. I'm sure I'll do a deck guide for this and a few other things. Because I'm starting to enjoy Scrolls again now. A bit. It's still difficult, but we're getting there. So, yeah. Until then, I shall see you next time. Goodbye.